Hey guys. Okay, so I just got out of a meeting with Danny and I'm so pumped. Like I swear I love him more and more every time I speak with him. And so I'm just really feeling it right now. I wanted to come on and share with you all why I chose Danny for this first film in the series. I've known him for about a year and he approached me to create a music video for Demi. Blown away. I mean, we're talking about a girl here that has survived 13 open heart surgeries, has coded 5 times, been on life support, has had to learn to walk again. I mean, her story is nothing short of a miracle. Simple as that. But, there is more than just the medical side of her story. I kind of see myself in both Danny and Demi, and I can remember, editing her music video, watching her story play out across the screen, and I felt the usual, like the pain and the weight and the hope, uh, but I also saw kind of parallels in our journeys. Like, for example, while Demi's fighting for her life, it was Taylor Swift's music that inspired her to keep fighting. It helped her with PT. It gave her hope and just something to fight for. And Taylor's music, it also inspired her and Danny to start writing songs. Immediately connected with that. Because, during my own struggles with mental health and when I would go nonverbal a lot, it was Adam Young's music that gave me just hope and a voice. His music gave me a safe space to process my pain and kind of move through it. And I ended up finding purpose through it, like just how Taylor inspired Demi and Danny to write songs, Adam inspired me to create music videos, which is how this whole Here's Hope project kind of got started and how all of this is happening, so. But when I saw that connection, I just lit up because of just the powerful role music has played in both of our lives. And, for me, sharing your stories through music is the most powerful way we have at connecting and empathizing with each other. So anyways, there was that kind of parallel. And another thing too is the mental health side of things, obviously. Danny's very open about his struggles with PTSD and anxiety, depression, things like that. Let's get one thing clear and out of the way, not comparing my pain to theirs at all. There is nothing more traumatic than losing or almost losing a child. So let's just get that straight. But what I can do is empathize with the weight of those emotions. And I know the courage it takes to speak openly about them, especially as a man, right? I think that's incredibly admirable. And I love that Danny is willing to speak openly about this. So another thing, too, that I was really, really drawn to is their faith. I wasn't a believer when I started this journey, but families like his is what led me to seek God. And what I see in Danny's life, like how his suffering has shaped him, how his faith has grown, the person he's turned into, it's a testament to what God can do with our pain. Danny's story, it brings to light so many things, like the stigma men face around mental health, the spiritual transformation that comes from surrender, the reality of parenting a child with severe heart defects, and the healing and unifying power that music has. So I chose Danny and Demi not just because their story is powerful, but because I think they can change lives. And I could not feel more honored than for him to trust me in sharing it. This is really more than just a film to me, guys. It's about getting Danny's story out there now. And so I would love it, if you would come along this journey with us. I encourage you to like and follow the Here's Hope project because you will learn more about Danny and Demi, get to see some behind the scenes stuff. And if you feel it in your heart and would like to help us bring Danny's story to life, your donation to help us get to him would be so appreciated. In the end, though, I'm just so excited about this. I would just love it. In the end, it's really about getting Danny's story out there now. And so I would love it if we can just rally around them and just get their story out there now.